Science fiction. The US is buzzing these days regarding the issue of aliens. I am going to create my own worldview here. It is a simple cosmological theory. First, I will state that the calculation standards for the physical laws of the universe and Earth are different. I will state that gravitational forces differ for each planet and must be calculated according to different standards. Furthermore, I will establish the standards as the planet's mass and its distance relative to the Sun. Planets rotate according to their mass and the type of element. There is a possibility that the Sun was a black hole in the past. It is possible that it absorbed a black hole of the same mass, and the kinetic energy associated with that mass turned it into a star. However, because the black hole pockets possessed a large amount of mass over time, they are maintaining their energy just like the Sun today. There is a possibility that black holes were once the Sun or stars in the past. For some reason, black hole pockets were formed. Also, black holes are absorbed by each other through a greater energy interaction. Planets located between the Sun and a black hole form an orbital period between the Sun's repulsive force and the black hole's gravitational force. The Earth's rotation is due to its mass. Planets orbit and rotate, and for some reason become stars. Using that energy, they drift through space, combine with other planets, increase the mass of the planet that absorbed the star, or absorb smaller planets to increase their mass. Mass is essentially energy. A planet that absorbs a star can obtain thermal energy through the star. However, since there is no oxygen, it will soon be absorbed by the planet as mass. Therefore, it is possible that a black hole pocket endlessly absorbed mass until it became the Sun we see today. However, for some reason, there may be differences in the capacity of the black hole pocket. Newton's law of gravity. Newton's law of gravity, the law of universal gravitation, is the principle that a force of mutual attraction, gravity, acts between all objects that possess mass. This force is proportional to the product of the masses of two objects and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, and it is a universal law of physics that applies everywhere in the universe. Among the invariant laws of Einstein's theory of relativity and special relativity is the law of the constancy of the speed of light. It is a revolutionary theory of physics that changed our perception of time, space, and gravity, and it is divided into the special theory of relativity 1905, which deals with uniform motion, and the general theory of relativity 1915, which deals with accelerated motion, including gravity. The core idea is that the speed of light is constant, and that time and space change relatively depending on the observer's speed or gravity. Therefore, Earth's gravity is generated by the energy derived from its mass, acting as the driving force for rotation, which exerts gravitational force within the Earth based on the velocity according to the orbital period. Using the same theory, the gravitational values of other planets can be obtained relative to their mass. Let's consider negotiations between aliens and the United States regarding the fact that the mass of surrounding planets is wretchedly low. Conspiracy theories: the possibility that aliens move the mass of planets surrounding Earth to other planets inaccessible to humans, thus causing the surrounding planets to become destitute. Defense of alien conspiracy theories. It is intended to allow aliens to enable humans to calculate gravitational values proportional to the mass of other planets. A team led by Professor Kim Chae-woon of UNST in Korea has developed high-pressure cooling technology. They filled microplastic tubes with water and rapidly lowered the temperature to -190 degrees Celsius (190 degrees Fahrenheit) under high pressure of approximately 20 atmospheres to create high-density ice. State change. Subsequently, when the pressure was lowered to 1 atmosphere and the temperature was gradually raised, they confirmed that the ice transformed into liquid water at -150 degrees Celsius. What is required to activate a planet like Earth in an orbit slightly away from Earth? It must be in a different orbital sphere from Earth. To make a planet like Earth, it requires a mass equal to or similar to Earth's. The planet to be grown must combine with a star and an asteroid. At the same time, there must be no other planets in the orbit of the planet to be made like Earth. When absorbing a star, if water and oxygen are present on the planet, the kinetic energy, such as that generated by volcanic eruptions based on mass, must not be sufficient to turn an existing planet into a star. Any gas can have a critical point. Gas splits at a very slow rate, increasing its volume. However, if it reaches a pressure or critical point, it may self-explode and burn due to the energy and force generated. If there is a difference between planets containing water and oxygen and those that do not, it is that specific elements within the planet may combust in proportion to the planet's total mass, triggering its transformation into a star. Alternatively, a collision with an asteroid or star could trigger a combination of elements within the planet, causing it to fail to withstand the force of the total burning mass and potentially become a star. This possibility applies to all planets. Finally, this hypothesis suggests the possibility of having two suns. If extraterrestrial beings arbitrarily moved elements from other planets, it is possible that this was an attempt to reduce the likelihood of them becoming stars. Nevertheless, if surrounding planets become impoverished, discussions and negotiations are necessary to maintain or replace Earth's mass.